Have you ever lost your temper over something fucking stupid? Have you ever gotten angry and then 5 minutes after the event thought to yourself, what the fuck did I lose control for? Well, you see, most men don't lose control over something serious that happened. They lose control because of their fucking ego. They turned a small moment into a full-blown threat when someone looks at them funny, someone cuts them off in traffic. Maybe someone spoke to them with a tone that they didn't like. Maybe someone bumps into you in the pub. Maybe someone leaves a comment online that you don't like. And even before you get a chance to think, your body reacts. Your chest tightens, your jaw locks, your breathing changes, your pride kicks in. And suddenly this tiny little moment becomes, I'm not letting him disrespect me. But here's the problem. Half the time, it wasn't even about you. And that's what we're going to speak about today. It's called the empty boat theory. So there's an old story about a man crossing a river in a boat. He's calm. He's minding his own business in his boat. And then another boat crashes into him. Instantly gets angry. What the fuck are you bumping into me for? What the hell's wrong with this idiot? Why isn't he looking at where he's going? Is he trying to take the piss out of me? Am I some sort of muppet? And he's ready to shout. He's ready to react and fight. He's ready to make it personal. But then he looks closer. And the boat's fucking empty. There's no person inside. There's no intention. There's no disrespect. There's no attack. It's just an empty boat, drifting with the current. And then suddenly, his anger disappears. Because, well, why wouldn't it? There's no one to fucking blame. There's no enemy. There is no disrespect. There's just that thing that happened. Empty boat bumped into him. And that's the lesson. Because most things that trigger you are empty boats. And this matters. This is massive for men. And especially now because most men are walking around already wound up and angry. You're probably stressed. You're probably tired. You're probably under a lot of pressure. And you feel like you're behind in life. You already feel disrespected. And you feel like you have something to prove. I get it. So when something small happens, maybe you don't respond to the actual thing itself. You're responding to everything you've already been carrying. And that's why a small comment becomes a massive argument. It's because it's everything else on top of it. It's why someone just looks at you wrong and that becomes a confrontation. It's why road rage happens. And it's why men ruin relationships over just tone of voice. It's why lads end up fighting over nothing outside a fucking bar. It's rarely just about that one moment. It's your ego saying, I won't be made to look like a dickhead. I won't be made to look weak. You won't speak to me like that. I need to show him I'm not scared. I need to win this. I need to win this moment. But that isn't strength. That's just emotional slavery. You're a slave to your emotions because if a stranger can make you angry in 3 seconds, he owns you. He can manipulate you and control you. You are weaker than you think if you can be manipulated in that way. If a comment online can ruin your day, it owns you. If someone's tone of voice can turn you into a child, they own you. And men don't like hearing this, I get it. But it's true. And you know it's true. If you're easy to bait, you're easy to control. So, and we've all been through this. I have personal stories with this as well. I've reacted too fast in fights. Got angry. There was times when I was younger where I thought every look was a problem and every tone and disrespect someone gave me, I needed to react to. Everything needed an answer. I've been around fighting gyms my whole life. I've been competing. And in that sort of environment, it's easy to justify it as just confidence. But looking back, it wasn't confidence, it's ego, insecurity, wanting to fight with every single person. You see, if you watch MMA, if you watch fighting, the cameraman always wins. If you watch street fights and you ever watch my reaction videos on Instagram, you'll see that when someone's calm, they're dangerous. But when someone loses their temper, comes rushing in, normally their chin's in the air, they're swinging wild, they're always easy to beat. And you've got to be the same. You've got to be calm. Not because you're going to fight, but because you want the correct response. And you won't get the correct response by reacting. What I realise in this world is the world will keep sending boats at you. And some may be real threats, some will be disrespect, some you will have to deal with, no doubt, but a lot of them are just empty. And if you treat every empty boat like an enemy, you're going to be fine for fucking ever, boys. And you don't want to. The empty boat theory doesn't make you weak. I'm not telling you to let people walk all over you. It doesn't mean become passive, become a little fucking cock. That's where people get emotional control wrong. People think being calm, it means soft. It fucking doesn't. Please understand the difference. Calm means you're not reacting from a place of panic. Calm means you can see clearly. Calm means you can decide what the moment actually requires. And every moment is different. Some situations need a boundary. Some need direct words. Some, they just need you to walk away. Some need silence. Some need you to remove yourself. And yes, some are genuine threats where you need to knock the fuck out of a cunt. But the point is this: you don't let your ego choose a response. You let your training choose a response. And that is the difference. A weak man reacts. A dangerous man, he assesses and he plans. The insecure man needs to prove himself, but a disciplined man, he doesn't need to prove anything, ever. Boys, there's empty boats everywhere. The comment section is full of empty boats. The traffic is full of empty boats. Relationships are full of empty boats. Businesses full of empty boats. Social media is basically an ocean of empty fucking boats. People are angry. People are insecure. People are bored. People are projecting their own issues. People are trying to get a reaction. And most men fall for it every day. They think they're standing up for themselves. But really, they're just being dragged around by other people's shite, other people's trauma, other people's issues. Someone says something stupid and now your nervous system is completely gone. They've got you to a sympathetic state of stress now. If someone disagrees with you, now your whole mood changes because of someone else. Someone disrespects you and now you think you're ready to risk your freedom, your relationship, your business, or reputation over some fucking moment that won't fucking matter tomorrow anyway. You'll forget about it. That's not being harder to kill. That's being easy to move. Being easy to manipulate. And this is one of the biggest parts of becoming an individual is harder to kill. You must become harder to emotionally move. You don't want to be numb. You don't want to be dead inside. You're not pretending nothing ever affects you. But you're harder to hijack, harder to bait, harder to pull out of your own character. You're harder to turn into a fucking idiot. So here's a simple framework you can follow. Before you react, I want you to ask yourself 3 questions. Number 1. Is this actually about me? Because a lot of the time, it actually isn't about you. They might be tired. They might be drunk. They might be insecure. You never know, they might be just distracted. They might be having a really fucking shitty day themselves, and now they're pushing it onto you. Or they might just be a clown, and that does not mean you accept disrespect. It means you don't instantly make yourself the center of every situation. Question number 2. Is this a real threat or just my ego? Now this is massive, this is huge, because your body can make embarrassment feel like a danger when it isn't. So you just need to ask yourself for a second, am I actually unsafe, or am I just feeling insulted right now? Because those are not the same fucking thing. And then finally, number 3, what response makes me stronger after this moment? So you want to think afterwards, long term, not short term. Short term is what feels good right now, but afterwards, we don't give a fuck about right now. Not that, you win the argument. We don't give a fuck that it proves if you're hard. We don't give a fuck about that. What response leaves you with more control, more respect, and fewer regrets? Because sometimes that response is speaking up. Sometimes it's just fucking walking away. Sometimes it's laughing at it. And sometimes it's saying, not today. Sometimes it's doing absolutely fuck all. But the key is this, you get to choose. You don't get dragged into making a decision. You make it yourself. So I'll give you some examples. If someone cuts you off in traffic, a weak response is chase them, swear, scream, ruin your own mood, maybe jump out of the car and beat that cunt out of them. That would be great for me to react to, but you shouldn't do it. A trained response is notice the anger, breathe, and let the empty boat drift. Someone leaves maybe a stupid comment online. A weak response is argue for 3 hours with someone who doesn't even fucking matter. Listen, I love a bit of internet beef myself. I love reacting to comments, but the proper response is ask yourself, is this useful, or is this cunt just making noise? Maybe someone speaks to you with a tone. A weak response is headbutt the cunt. But a trained response is pause and say, what do you mean by that, mate? Just ask them the question. Maybe someone tries to embarrass you. A weak response is explode and prove them wrong. A trained response is stay calm. Make them look emotional. Keep your frame and stay strong. And that's what real power is. It's not shouting. It's not puffing your fucking chest out. It's not needing the last word, because that's your ego. Power is being able to feel the reaction and not obey it, because we all get them reaction, boys, but don't obey it. Most men say they want discipline, but discipline's not just going to the gym, lads. Discipline's not just eating fucking clean. It's not just waking up early and fucking getting after it. Real discipline is what happens inside the 3 seconds between a trigger and a reaction, and that tiny gap is where your life is going to change, because in that gap you either become the man you say you fucking are, or you become some emotional child that can't control his emotions and reactions. This is where the real work is done. You will get angry. You'll feel disrespected. You will want to react as well. But the work is learning to not be ruled by that first feeling that shows up, because it will show up. Because that first feeling is often, it's not wisdom, it's often fear. It's your pride on the line. It's your ego. It's often old pain. It's often the younger version of you trying to protect you. And that's why this matters. Because sometimes the boat in front of you is empty, but the anger inside you is not. That's real. And that anger might be old. It might be an insecurity from the past that you need to prove to yourself. The reaction might have nothing to do with that moment in front of you. And if you don't understand that, you'll spend your whole fucking life punishing the present for things that happened in the past. For me, this is part of becoming harder to kill. Because a man who cannot, who can fight but can't control himself is still vulnerable. You're still vulnerable. A man who's strong but he's easy to bait, you're still weak. A man who looks dangerous but loses his head and anger over nothing isn't disciplined. You're just emotional with muscles. Being harder to kill means your body is harder to break. Your mind is harder to break. Your habits, they're harder to break as well. And your emotional state is harder to hijack. That is the standard. Not perfect, not robotic. We're not pretending that you'll never care. You're just going to be harder to move. So next time something triggers you, remember the empty boat. Before you react, take a little pause, look closer, and ask yourself the question, is this a real threat? Is this actual disrespect? Does this need action? Or is this just an empty boat drifting past me? Because not every moment deserves your energy. Boys, if you enjoyed the video, give it a subscribe, a like, comment what you like to see me talk about next. Any issues you have, let me know. And I'll see you in the next one.